as we always do around this time, sucker shit.
You know, I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
First of all, I'm dedicate this one to my cousin. That's my cousin AJ.
Big
Love him.
ups.
It's my boy.
Big ups.
It's my brother. Cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost 100 pounds. He's on this journey.
Looking good.
Love you, man. But me and him witnessed Black History together. In the city of Carson, where I used to have a home, there's a Denny's that had a bar attached to it.
Bar Denny's.
Black History in Carson.
In Carson,
Yeah.
Carson,
I
California.
just wanted to get that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at Denny's had the bar.
Yes.
It's a great place to go get strong drinks for a cheap price.
Yes.
Right across the
Okay.
street from the Carson hallway.
There you go.
Big up to Jan.
Right. So we in there, and I mean, it's still a Denny's. You can get food, you get everything. So they got the bar part, and then we in a booth, but it's pretty full. So a few young ladies walk in, okay, and we, I'm still raised old school gentleman. I don't sit and while women stand. Hey, you guys want to sit with us? Now I'm gonna give you the full picture. When they walked in, they looked like they played for the Monstars. Okay, it was a little point guard, a power forward, and there was a center. Only thing they didn't have was Don Cheadle. I was looking, I was like, damn, we're going to celebrity sighting. So they sit down, we talking, hey. So they had the 2468 menu. So like $2, fries, $4, unlimited pancakes, $6 cheeseburger, 2468.
Right.
So the center ordered one item off of each thing, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay? So back then my cousin, he still smoked cigarettes, so we outside. He's smoking. I said, we just witnessed Black History. He said, what are you talking about? I said, the invention of the 20. It's like the 20. I said, one of each. Add 2, 4, 6, and 8. I said, we just witnessed Black History. It was being made. So we go back inside. And old girl's like, I know I need to lose some weight, but the gym memberships is too expensive. And I was like, Planet Fitness is $10 a month. You just ate 2 months. And with the tax, that's the dollar down too. It was at that moment that I realized the 10 is greater than 20.
So who's on the sucker shit?
10 is greater than 20. See, because what we want to do, no matter what the cost is fine, but what we need to do always costs too much.
Yes.
You 10 is greater than 20 niggas, you want some sucker shit.
No fucking doubt.
Fucking awesome.
10 is greater than 20, bro. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. All right. So.
Keep talking about, keep it safe. All right.
So, okay. So as we always do.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. As we always do about this time, sucker shit.
I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
And this happened actually to me yesterday. I got into an interesting exchange about, it's my sucker shits and our talks. And I was told, well, maybe if you wrap your presentation in more vulnerability, then you can reach a wider audience. What they meant by a wider audience, they meant reach women. And I was like, well, the premise of our show is man talk. And if a woman wants to see a window into honest conversation amongst men, and she's curious, it's a good source for it. If not, it's not for you. My message is my message. But she's like, I disagree. And that's fine. Well, I said, Winter Schnitzel don't serve pie. Ain't nobody ever went to the hot dog stand looking for blueberry pie. And Marie Callender's don't sell hot dogs either. Right? What you want me to do is talk like you. This hot dog ain't no pie. Wiener schnitzel pie looking niggas. You on some sucker shit.
It's not easy being me.
That's what you inspired.
It's like some double entendre shit there going. You know what I'm saying?
It's not easy being me.
Okay.
Okay. As we always do about this time, sucker shit.
You know, I was thinking,
Uh-oh.
one of my favorite things to do of all time, growing up, even being in school, was to take road trips. Okay? I love a good road trip. You know, I'm from LA, so Vegas, done that a bunch of times. San Diego, we road trip, you know. And there's rules to the road trip. You got the dude that's the snack dude, right? He got to make sure that he got whatever. Niggas like Ruffles, you got to make sure you got the Ruffles. The barbecue policies, not sunflower seeds, I'm from LA. The barbecue policies,
Yes, sir.
you know, you got to have those. You got whatever you're drinking.
Yes.
All right, then you got the dude that's in charge of the music, right? The music gonna set the tone for the trip, right? You ain't gonna be in a van full of dudes, you know, playing Sade. We ain't holding hands. Some better have some bass, you know, on the drum. Dude in charge of music, right? Well, the most important person is the person that's driving, right? They're in charge of the safety of everybody in the crew. You got to make sure if it's a rental car, everything's straight. And if it's your car, you got to make sure you get the oil change, everything right, right? Can you imagine going on a road trip with a donut tire?
Hell no.
Right? You walk up to the family, hey, dog. they don't know Michelin. we stop by America's Tire before we roll out.
Yeah, man, it's 5 miles.
Yeah, exactly. Because a donut is meant for the short trip. So what am I talking about? I've been hearing all these conversations amongst women talking about temporary femininity. Well, I'll be agreeable if the guy does this. I'll be more feminine if the guy does this. Now, I don't know everything about femininity, but I know I don't turn my masculinity off. It's not subject to the whims of a woman. So I don't understand why the femininity is subject to the masculinity. To me, it seems like you got that donut tire taking this road trip. Imagine if I invited you over to dinner and you came over and I was like, man, I would have cooked, but I don't have no pots, ain't got no food, and I don't have no seasoning. Side note, if you go into a black person's house and they don't have Lawry's or Red Rooster hot sauce, get out, okay? It's a trap. Old black folks, they got the wooden knife and spoon or the picture of Jesus.
And okay.
And no, he was always close to the fork. I never understood that. Anyway, you got the donut going on the road trip. Now, a relationship is supposed to be for the long haul, right?
Right.
You got to pack your femininity just like I got to pack my masculinity for the trip. You donut tire road trip niggas, you on some sucker shit.
Hey, I didn't see that one coming.
All right, I got one more.
And I
then
had
we
a
can
conversation
dig.
about that.
I got one more.
A
We
chick
can,
talking about, you're forcing me to put on my masculinity. And I was like, yeah, that would be the end of our any kind of interaction. Because you're embodying something that I don't touch.
Right.
Do I look like faggotry? I do not.
No. All right, you ready, Jay? All right, cool. So, as we do about this time, sucker shit.
you know, I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
I was actually thinking, I saw a promo for the Winter Olympics that are coming up.
Right.
And, you know, It's like once every 4 years we care about certain sports that we never pay attention to. You know, one of the, and this is a Summer Olympic one, not a Winter Olympic one, but one of those is gymnastics. Don't nobody watch no damn gymnastics except for once every 4 years, right?
Right.
So I was thinking about the GOAT, Simone Biles.
The GOAT.
You know, personal issues and all the stuff she went through aside, she's the GOAT. Now, could you imagine that she was doing a routine and she fell and got back up and the announcer was like, that was a perfect 5?
No, I couldn't imagine.
No? So I've been seeing a lot of perfect 5 celebrations going on. So I grew up playing sports. You know, you play ball, I couldn't go left and make a left hand layup. My uncle made me dribble left and shoot 1,000 layups, right? Well, by the time I got to high school, left hand layup was easy. But could you imagine growing up hitting like, don't worry about it, man. You perfect just the way you are. I'd have been half the player, a perfect 5. And that's why I see these people supporting stuff. Oh, girl, you beautiful just the way you are. No, you not. You handsome as hell. You need to clean that up. Right? You smart just how you are. No, you not. You got a D on that test. You didn't even study. Perfect 5? No. Well, if he don't want you like this, he can't have you at your best. Huh? Hyundais don't turn into Mercedes. I ain't going to the Hyundai lot talking about, well, it's going to be an S-Class next week. If you bought a Hyundai, it's a Hyundai. Now, if it improves, it improves. Stop it with this perfect 5 nonsense. Perfect 5 niggas is on some sucker shit.
Oh, wow. You was on the gummy when you hit that, didn't you?
Yeah, I was. No, actually, I thought of that on the drive over here.
Oh, my God. Hey.
I was on the gummy with the donut road trip, though.
No. That was...
I was eating snacks. Let's start thinking about it. There you go, big guy.
Oh, wow. Welcome back to Skinny Black's Lounge. My name is Rob, a.k.a. Skinny Black. And to my left...
Ricardo Chubbs.
There he is. To his left...
JT, period of silent. Hi, Mom.
And to his left...
The ghost.
Yeah, not the goat.
The ghost.
The ghost.
Yeah. Like the gooch.
So thank you for tuning in. As always, this is a place where it's like the virtual man cave, Skinny Black's Lounge, where we can sit down and have conversations together, unpack some shit, and just really let our hair down. What I encourage people to do is, as you hear things and you have ideas, to comment, like, share, and our I don't want to say hope, but our aim and our goal is to that we get to spark conversations that may not be normally having, or actually add perspective to conversations that may already be having. So with that being said, we thought about doing, I guess I thought about doing a show as we were bouncing around what the topics were going to be. And I said, you know what? One thing, it got inspired by a conversation I had, a back and forth I had with several ladies on Facebook, on the Facebook group I'm in. And just to give everyone the cliff notes of it all, at a certain point, I threw out some data, and a young lady she questioned the data that I threw out, because I said most black men are single, childless, and in the middle class. And so she threw out a question of where are they, what age group, all these other questions. So I sent her to a couple of websites. I said, check out blackdemographics.com, census data. or the CDC, and she answered back 2 words: "I'm good." And so it struck me. It struck me like, wow, like she asked a question. I thought I was being helpful and helping her solve this issue for her, and she seemed to not want my help. Then there was a couple of other responses that came behind that were like, well, she answered back. So when I responded, said on the ungood, I was like, well, there it is. You asked for it. I gave it to you. You don't want it. And so then her response to me was, well, you came off a little disrespectful. So my tone, I don't know how you pick up tone in typing, but apparently my tone was borderline disrespectful because I answered her with data statistics and gave her a place to go. So with that being said, I figured we'd do a data show.
Hey, did you capitalize the www when you showed her the website? She's like, you yelling at me.
I don't even think I even put the www there. You know what? I might have capitalized the black.
There you go.
That's what it was.
All right.
Yeah, your use of pejorative terms like 50% and 1/3, and it was offensive.
Offensive.
It was offensive. And you also used the term black
with a capital B.
Yeah, which is also pretty offensive. You know what I mean? I'm an Afro-American.
Oh,
yeah,
one of those.
The hairstyle, even though I lack the follicle to reinforce that now, but at one point,
Afro.
I was kind of tight.
Afro.
Well, they changed that because I'm bald headed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm bald headed American.
Yeah.
So who wants to start with their data? What? So we all agreed to come to the table with some data and stats, and we talk about it. So who wants to hit first?
We'll go with you, Robert.
Oh, you want me to hit first?
This is your inspiration.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well check this out. So I don't know when this is gonna get dropped, but Dave Chappelle's show just dropped last week. And
well, we better drop it soon then. Go ahead.
And so with all of the hoopla around Dave Chappelle, I was curious. What's the percentage of our United States population that's trans? And according to the CDC risk factor surveillance system, 1/2 of 1%, 0.54 1/2 of 1% is 0.54, and which totals 1.36 million Americans identify as trans. I just want to throw that out there.
So how many is that?
1.36 million.
But it's 0.54.
Yeah, 0.54. 1/2 of 1%.
Okay.
That of total U.S. population.
U.S. population, I'm sorry, it's like 380 million, something like that.
Yeah, and one point identify as trans.
Yes.
Okay, and then, now we say this as to not diminish that number. We're just saying,
Yeah.
In light of all the attention.
In light of all the attention, definitely in light of all the attention, and also in light of, we're going to get into this thing here about specifically the rights of trans people and in their word intersectionality, and how their human rights intersect with already existing legislation and laws that are already on the books, because we recognize the fact that there are some things that need to be done in there in regards to identifying them and validating them in society. But we're going to speak to this point of this marginalization that they speak of. But go ahead.
And to that point, which I'm glad, that was a soft handoff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pause, not soft. Yeah. With that point,
He's having a moment.
you talk about marginalization. What I don't know, what I'm curious is to, and I hope people can figure this out and send this to us and put us in chat. What's the percentage of those 1.36 million trans are black trans women?
Who's to know? But my immediate thoughts are, I'm an advocate for everybody to have equal rights. But I think of it like transportation. So we all met up here, we all drove and met. Well, if you don't have a car, you can take public transportation or Uber, right? Nobody came up here on a piggyback ride. And when I think about all these other movements, all they do is piggyback ride on the black struggle.
No doubt.
And I don't know about everybody else, but my legs are tired. So get off my back and stand on your own 2 feet.
And we go further with that. So we can make it even very specific. So we can speak to all of the police reforms that people are putting forth in different bodies of legislation, different bills. There's a myriad of them in different spaces throughout the country. Okay. And what it does is it is an aim to create accountability for rogue actors in law enforcement. So we'll speak to rogue actors in law enforcement, and we won't place any color or gender on these rogue actors.
Right.
Albeit they're mainly white males, but we won't do that. So in the space of that, okay, the people who have been sacrificed the most are black males. Black people, but black males primarily, but we're not going to go into the minutiae of that, but black people. Okay, so within the space of accountability, none of it says, thou shalt not beat on thy black head. It says, police who are rogue actors will be held accountable in this fashion. They're going to create policy and create projects and funding and infrastructure to take policing out of certain things, mental illness, homelessness, of these things. So you're going to pull policing out of that and then add infrastructure there to get rid of a specific bias that policing creates in people and forces rogue action. Okay, so within that, of holding those things, those accountable, we're not writing in anything that's specific that says black. So why would we need to write in anything that specifically says don't do trans people like this? So there's a intersection of policy here that creates accountability for all people to hold these rogue actors into account. However, history has shown that the people that are bearing the brunt of that, and then the people that are pushing forth the most resistance to that, are black people historically. So where in this are you looking? Because this is all about the slight, and this is all about some form of marginalization. What in that space are we doing to marginalize trans people and black trans people specifically? And then you show me where someone like a Chappelle specifically has incited some form of, and give me some data, please, because I could point to a full-on insurrection inspired by Donald Trump. I can speak to him and Jeff Sessions' removal of police consent decrees that held police departments into account, and removal of collection of data on arrest records by race. So I can go to specific things here, and a whole system that codifies these things. So show me in the space where somebody like Dave Chappelle saying, you know, genetics is a fact, is somehow one, creating violence, two, marginalizing, or three, in any way creating a culture of disavowing that person's affirmation of their being. I'm just curious, And
Well, the argument against Dave is bullshit because those people arguing didn't watch it. Because the conversation was about racism. And it was about how LGBTQIA plus community who are white can lean on whiteness when it's convenient and put aside their sexual piece, right? And so my question about asking folks about the percentage of that 1.36 million of trans folks who are black trans women goes back to your piece as like they're still, and who are witnessing catching the most hell at the end of the day, those are our brothers who have made the decision, who,
they were
to
brothers.
be trans. They were brothers.
They were brothers.
But it's still brothers.
Yes.
We still catching hell there too.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
definitely.
the interesting thing I pulled from what he said was, it was a little side road. You know how my mind goes about the legislation and the impact. It amazes me how you cannot specifically say black folk, but everybody else can get specifics.
Yes.
So to all you Negroes that said, well, Obama was the president of everybody, not just of black people. Do you think that if Mitt Romney would have won, the Mormons would have got some love? You don't think that he would have slid them a bone, right? So that's why I talked about that piggyback ride, right? We great when somebody is standing on our backs and our shoulders to get theirs. But when they got theirs and they jump off, thanks, nigga. See you later. All right. See you at Essence.
And no, this is that's funny. That's funny as shit. And this has come up in some of the circles that I'm in, professionally, where we talk about the term BIPOC, and we talk about it here on the show too, to where all of these movements, social justice, racial justice movements, whether it be women's rights, LGBTQIA, immigrant, all of these pieces come out of and are born out of Black struggle. All of the legal challenges that they've had and in support of their movements have come out of laws specifically to even the playing field of equity for Black people. All the equal protection shit.
Well, specifically fought for by Black people.
Yes.
Put into the form by Black people.
Not just given, but fought for, died for,
Fought
blood,
for.
sweat, and tears.
None of which identifies any of us in there specifically. They were all created to benefit a collective of people believed to be marginalized. Now, the whole BIPOC thing, in theory, would be acceptable if, in fact, that the other people in BIPOC, outside of the Black people, and some conduits to those people who happen to be Black, didn't play preferred minority when it came time for some benefit, where it was no longer convenient for them to align themselves with Blackness, and then typically buy in to the other stereotypes that are placed upon us. For instance, in 2000, I started working for a project funded by NASA at Cal State LA that educated teachers in science and education. And so my job was to go to Title I schools. And Title I schools are schools that receive free lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did, I identified, I just go to the website. Boom, Title I school. Built into this, at each school's website, this is before schools were really created their own website. The district created sub websites for each one, and it basically was just built on demographics, school population, school location, school demographics by race, and then in there they built in discipline. For some odd reason, that's just what they did. And so what I noticed is, as I'm going through it, I noticed the dramatic racial shift or cultural shift in LAUSD at specific schools. Schools that were predominantly Black now were predominantly Latino. And schools that were predominantly, that had whiteness in them, were no longer white. There was an exodus of white students out of LAUSD, specifically in areas of like the East Valley, the North Valley, and in the South Bay. Schools like Carson and Narbonne and Gardena, and Westchester. Okay. But what I noticed is I would look at the breakdown in discipline and how many suspensions, and then the suspensions by race. This is 21 years ago. And I would look at a school like Roosevelt, and Roosevelt's percentage of Black students would be 1% or less, but they'd be 50% of the suspensions. Okay. Lincoln High School, Garfield High School. These are all 90% Latino schools, with like 8% Asian, things like that, but 90s. And speckled, a couple hundred Black students in enrollments are exceeding, between 3 and 5,000, because a couple of them were huge schools at the time. And I noticed that consistently we were the majority of the suspensions, at least 50%, at least, and specifically Black males. And then I looked at the expulsion numbers for the district, and I looked at them, and the expulsion numbers for the entire LAUSD was littered with Black students.
Yep.
Okay. And so I started to work for LAUSD 2 years later in the classroom. And then I have this data, and I'm trying to process this data. And so as I'm in there, I'm looking at it, how Black students are being disciplined. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this is just like the criminal justice system then. We commit the same crime, but our punishment is exponentially higher. But the difference is the punishment is not being doled out by that white male boogeyman, is systemic. It is being doled out by BIPOC.
Yes.
In every instance, BIPOC was doing this.
That's why I ain't fuck with none of this album.
So,
like
my
Tupac,
example,
but not BIPOC.
my anecdotal experience based in the data, and then looking at how this happens, and I can come to the summation that if I look across these, I can look at people buying in to those greater societal stereotypes about Blackness and criminality, and then thus it manifesting at a very, very young age.
Okay. I didn't even, I learned something. I didn't know I was a Title I kid.
Free lunch.
Yeah, because you don't know about this. We'll bond over this one.
Oh, okay.
Because if you ain't had one of them LAUSD coffee cakes, see, he know.
Give me an end piece of the coffee cake.
Yep, you want the end off the tray. Give me the cold juice.
Oh, man.
Right, man, I was in heaven. Don't even talk about it, Sweet Home Alabama.
You had we ain't have free lunch and coffee cake in Alabama, bro.
But it wasn't
We
like
had
I
that
said
shit.
LAUSD.
I get you, man.
Okay.
I get you, bro.
I didn't take molasses away from y'all.
Okay, bro.
So don't take coffee cakes away from us.
Okay, bro.
All right.
Hey.
Coffee cakes and gangbanging. Away from LA.
You can have it. It's all yours.
Bloods, Crips, and coffee cakes.
Hey,
Creased up Levi's.
and all of it got exported to Alabama.
Oh, man.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say the funny thing out of all of this, when we talk about Title IX, Title VI, Title I, all that shit come out of 14th Amendment. All that shit come out of the civil rights legislation of the 60s for Black folks. So I'll just say that.
We're the foundation for everybody else's struggle. And they have passed and surpassed us. The ability of, and again, no slight against anybody's movement, but the ability of 0.5% of the population to get buckets and buckets more notoriety, attention, and amenities than we've gotten over hundreds of years in a fraction of the time, it's a hell of a point.
Yeah.
And it deserves to be dug into a little deeper, but it's easier just to get mad at the dude that's telling the jokes, because the real conversation you don't want to have.
Right. Which he was trying to have at the same time.
I mean, you know, I'm always in support of the jokes. You want equal rights, get these equal jokes. Okay? I got something like, when I heard Latinx, I was confused. I had to talk to my Mexican homie. I thought they had like, you know, like a Martin Luther King for Mexicans. So,
Like Malcolm X.
I was like, Latinx, is that Cesar Chavez? He didn't even know what the hell Latinx was. We both went and Googled it. I had my boy work out. Because at first, for real, I didn't, you know, because they throw these new words out, and I don't know. You can't put me in a box, you cisgendered male. I was like, man, you just put, what is a cis?
It's one of them things
but I'm
that you
just
have.
saying.
That Dr. Pimple Popper be
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
You
That's
know?
one of them things you get to pop.
She'd be lancing it and then squeezing all the stuff out of it.
So who got the next data point?
I'm ready, man.
Okay, shoot.
And I think this is interesting data, because one of the things that I've been noticing is it's difficult to have a conversation if you can't understand like the basic facts of something. You're operating from two different places, or you are answering two different questions, right? How can we solve something when we're not on the same page?
Right.
So,
And are we even looking to solve something?
right.
Ooh.
So we talk about families and folks getting together, right? I don't think that we have a really good understanding of income, of wealth in this amongst Black people. So I went to the 2019 Census Bureau, and here's the tripped out part. That number, when the next reports come out, is going to shift drastically post-pandemic. But this is 2019. So upper class, this is what they're calling the upper class. This is Black households that make $200,000 a year or more.
That's upper class?
That's upper class.
Wow.
Good luck in LA.
3% of Black households nationwide.
Wow.
Okay. Upper middle class is 150 to 200K. That's 4% of Black households. What they're calling the middle class
Damn.
is 50 to 150K. Okay. That's 36% of Black households.
That is a hell of a range, though. 50
to 150.
to 150.
Is what they're calling the middle class.
That is hella.
And I think that range is because you said good luck in LA, because some of this is regional.
Yeah.
Cost of living in LA versus cost of living in, say, St. Louis or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
if you was making 60 in Gaston, alright.
That's what, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Working class, 25 to 50K. That's 25% Black households. Working class to poverty, which is under 25K and under, is 32% of Black households.
1/3.
Damn.
And 19% makes under 15K.
Extreme poverty.
Okay?
Wow.
The average household income is $43,862 median household income.
That's
Married
median.
couple family income is $81,543. Single woman head income $35,354. Median income amongst men $40,370. Women $35,963. Couple things that strike me. We need to turn off BET. We need to turn off all these different videos. We need to turn off a lot of our talking heads. We need to stop looking at the LeBrons of the world. We need to stop looking at the Denzels or the Oprahs and thinking that that's normal. They are an aberration. I appreciate them all. Congratulations on your success.
Right.
But the average Black folks in this country, the average Black man is making 40, the average Black woman is making 35. right? And they arguing with each other over, I don't need you, you don't need me. No, together you make 75, and together you have a much better life. But we don't know where we're at. So when the sister says, when you say to those sisters, the majority of black men are in the middle class. Well, what if they don't understand what the middle class is?
That part.
What if the middle class to them is $100,000
Right.
or more? Well, no, that puts him actually in the top 5% of black men. I'm not telling financial business, but how tall are you?
6'1".
And you make over $100,000 a year.
Yes.
You are officially in the top 3% of black men.
Actually, my household made.
Yeah, no, you're officially in the top. And we don't think of it that way.
Right.
Right? You're not walking around with attitude like I'm a top 3%er, but that's what the numbers bear out. Right? So we're not even talking the same conversation. People don't know where we're at.
True. Good point.
Oh, I'm trying to absorb that.
What struck me about those numbers is that you said the median black male was 40,000.
40,370. Now, here's the thing. Somebody else come with another one. Well, my study says 42. Okay,
Well, whatever. Okay. 42. Whatever.
like, your study ain't going to come back with 100. I can tell you that much.
Well, here's the thing that, what's up, mama? Here's the thing that struck me. It was the gap between the median black man, black woman. Black women will say, see, black men make more. The data says there's more black women making 35.
Yeah.
About 600,000 more or something like that. It's more black women making more money than there is black men making that amount. And what they don't factor in is brothers who are in prison making that dollar or nothing.
Black men do better and worse.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
for your sisters to say there aren't a lot of good black, no, there's plenty of successful black men out there.
Right.
There's also plenty of, we're in LA. In LA, as black men, we make up less than 5% of the population, but we make up 70% of the homeless population.
Yep.
But we're also in LA where there's a bunch of black dudes that's doing well. We're doing well and we're doing very poorly. All right. Women occupy a middle ground space that we don't occupy in those same numbers. And that's just what the data is.
Right.
Now, that has nothing to do with your personal experience.
Yeah.
Okay, Keisha. Well, in my life, well, they surveyed the population of the United States, not 38th Street.
And what I noticed in looking and preparing for the show is that when I look for data about disaggregated data of black men and women, it's you have to dig, because they'll say a stat like, okay, here's the homeless population, here's the homeless population of black folk, but they won't disaggregate it to men and women. They won't disaggregate. It's harder to find the disaggregation of incarceration rates. They'll have, it's harder to find disaggregation pieces around the suspension rates. So it would make it seem like black people are having an experience. But actually, when you look at the data, and that's the problem with our folks that you said, we don't know. We don't know the data. Black women will talk about intersectionality and say, hey, they're the most downtrodden of our folk, but not know the data. The data doesn't show that. The data says there's more black men homeless, we have the highest suicide rates, we have the lowest life expectancy, we have the lowest health outcomes, we have the highest incarceration, we have the lowest high school graduation rates, we have the
Latinos lower. Latino males are slightly lower.
well, between black men and black women.
Yes, definitely.
Between black men and black
Latino
women.
men just
So let me make this clear. Without those things I was talking about, it was between black men and black women.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
Go ahead.
so when we talk about black women talking about how bad they got,
Yeah.
like You don't know the data.
And what that is that's a supposition is what they're doing. Because what they're doing is they're saying, okay, blackness does poorly. Women do poorly.
Right.
Therefore, black
Women do
poorly.
worse.
Exactly. Exactly. And they're taking that, and it seems like a logical conclusion to it, but it's actually not supported totally and in entirety. This is not binary. You know what I mean?
Right.
By and large, there are many metrics in which black women are doing worse. However, consistently across the board, and this is not by accident. It's not by accident.
Right.
Black men are catching hell. This is systemic. It's systemic, and it is long standing. We need not, like, we can go back to the beginning of mass incarceration with the vagrant laws post slavery. Now, can we say that it was worse for black men because they were on the chain gang and working in prison profit schematics in the 1870s? Or, you know, we can say it was terrible for black women to be abandoned in that space and utilized and abused by that same white society, you know, taken into homes to take care of white children, raped, taken advantage of, still being, families still being dispersed and spread about, and snatching of young black males from these women. So, you know, we're not going to sit here and play the oppression Olympics with it and talk about what was worse. We have a full understanding of it because we could see the manifestation of it in this day, you know, right here. We have to remind people that before the Declaration of Independence, you had 180 years of bondage, structured bondage, 180 years before this country was officially founded. Okay, so this is long-standing, systemic attack on black male family, period. Not all of these other things, not BIPOC, indigenous people, black people, you know, two very specific populations were attacked in a very specific way. So when we make these alignments, and these people in the BIPOC whole construct, when they won't acknowledge the nuance of that and the history of that in this country, you know, Chinese Exclusion Act, all those Asian laws, and to go after Chinese immigrants and things like that, wholly identified and understanding Japanese internment camps, all of the virulent, disgusting nature of all that. However, there is some systemic psychological ramifications of just that 180 years before 1776.
Yeah. I was, you know, they have those 4K ultra TVs, high def ones, like you watch the game, you can see the blades of grass. And then remember the old black and whites, we used to have the wrench, foil.
Turn channel?
Yeah.
A lot of us black folks are still on wrench and foil when it's 4K ultra to look at.
Right.
There's more information, there's more data, there's more stuff we can look at, but we still stuck on this black and white with the foil on top.
That's on top of the other TV.
So I want to be clear about what we're saying. At least what I'm saying. I don't presume to speak for you guys. I want to be clear about the point I'm making and what I'm saying. Because somebody's going to hear this data and go, are you saying you have it worse than black women? No, I'm saying we've both had it bad. And these are the situations where we have it worse. These are the situations where you're suffering worse. Both of us are suffering. And so that empathy that you say is so important, let's have some. And let's have some perspective on what's going on, right? I'm not trying to win this contest. I wish you was right and we wasn't at the bottom of these damn numbers or the top, whichever you want to look at it, right? Who trying to be the worst at every damn thing?
Gold medal in the oppression
Right.
Olympics.
That's what I'm saying.
Woohoo.
And also my point is, my second point is, I'm not expecting the folks that have been on top to reach down and pull me up. But see, the game in the Olympics is to make a little bit of noise, and then 1 or 2% of us get some gigs and some money, and then they say, okay, all the rest of you Negroes, calm down. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here.
Look at these 2%.
Right? And these numbers get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Right? There is money to be made from our dysfunction. 40,000 to 35,000 in a household versus 75, or the average mayor was 81, right? Okay. Here's some other facts. Women consume more than men. If you are single as a woman, they have programs designed for your consumerism, because that's what America feeds off of. They profit off of us not being married. We have enriched them. Married couples spend less money recreationally. They have more savings, they have more retirement, they have more investments. So you want to talk about wealth and strategy? We are far better together than we are apart, and it's just been proven.
Yep.
I mean, take a look. Let's go simple metrics. Break it down very, very small. When was the last time you walked into a clothing store, like say a Gap? What happened to the men's section?
You mean them 2 jeans and a pair of drawers in the corner?
Man.
And then bubblegum white shoes?
Go into
What's
any
the Gap?
department store.
Yeah.
And look at and look at the
Yep.
the metric of it and say what in here is male centric and what in here is female centric, and just look at it and look at the rate. Look at the number one growth in tourism outside of ecotourism is packaging safe tourism for women. So creating these spaces where you got these all women tour groups and packages, where women can travel and be safe because of all the dangers that comes with it. Booming. It is booming.
And I was talking to Jay the other day. I was at Macy's. He's getting a pair of shoes or whatever. And what you said struck me. Whole bottom floor, women. The second floor, and we were at Beverly Center. The second floor was men's shoes, bedding, cookware,
It was a bigger section for pots.
kitchen, all that shit.
They still had Paula Dean in there.
For real.
Paula Dean. Special on nigga skillets.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I would slide one more in, and then I'm gonna pass it to you, Ren, because these stats tie in, and I'm just piggybacking on the back and forth he was having, because one of the ladies' questions was, "Where are these men at?" So I happen to find the top 5 cities for full employed Black men. Now these are large cities, populations of 50,000 or more. And this is per 100, okay? Versus Black women.
Okay.
So the number 1 city for full-time employed Black men, and this is as of 2019 again, the numbers post-pandemic haven't come out, and I think things will shift. San Diego, California. 167 Black men to 100 per 100 Black women. San Diego.
Wow.
Number 2,
I like that
Seattle,
guy.
Washington. 139 to 100.
I like Seattle.
Denver, Colorado. 134 to 100.
Gorgeous city.
Phoenix, Arizona. 120 to 100.
Too hot. I ain't fucking Phoenix.
And this one is going to surprise you. Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. at 117. Now,
Too cold.
also happen to have the bottom 5.
Atlanta.
Number 1, you'll never guess. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 81 per 100.
Oh, wow.
Well, number 5, I'm sorry.
Well, I guess
It's the bottom 5, so number 5.
Oh, my guys from Milwaukee struggling.
Next, Birmingham, Alabama.
Really?
80 per 100.
More women.
Little Rock, Arkansas. Same 80.
Banging.
Banging in Little Rock.
I can't see fate.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow.
Shout out to the Cavs and the Browns. 78.
My cousin struggling in Akron.
And tied, Cleveland was tied as the worst with St. Louis, Missouri. Same 78 per 100. Y'all got the Cardinals and Nelly, but y'all ain't got brothers employed.
Wow.
The St. Lunatics been out.
They got Budweiser.
They've been unemployed since
There's probably a lot of women working at Budweiser.
since Nelly's show got canceled on BET.
And that I actually pulled that from blackdemographics.com. And the interesting thing that I will say as a side note is, and I don't know the woman's intentions and I don't know her, so it's not personal, but maybe when you assume and you're disingenuous in your engagement, you can't see the person you're dealing with is genuine. So she wouldn't look at that website because she thinks it's a trick. However, if you look at that data, it's a lot of that data does not complement black men.
No, specifically the marriage
A
stuff.
lot of that data is hard on brothers. But the fact is what the facts are. But in her mind, you was trying to run a little game. But if she would have just www.blackdemographics.com,
She would have seen it.
you would have seen that
Right.
what you were presenting was just a full picture,
Right.
right? But what happens when you have to look at the full picture? Sometimes when people used to that black and white TV and they see that 4K, it's too much.
Too much. Yeah.
And maybe you just want to stay, you know,
In your comfort zone.
with your foil because you're comfortable there.
Yeah, and your pliers.
You wearing a Snuggie, nigga.
And it goes to discussion we had a while back about when you're having an exchange or an argument or any kind of just a plain old discussion. What are you doing? Are you having this argument or discussion for the purpose of winning, or are you having this discussion for seeking greater understanding?
Right.
And so when you get into a space like that, into those, you have that Facebook group, and people, they're no different. They talk about people, about the Trump people and the MAGA people and things like that, and how they're looking for the echo chamber and whatnot. That's exactly what they were doing in that room. They're looking for people to codify their thoughts, and they were
Everybody
looking for
I know.
exactly.
Shout out to Love Chronicles.
And so if she had gone on there and just looked up the simple marriage stats about black men and the percentage of black men that marry outside of race. Now, granted, we're lower than everyone else, but black women are still marrying black men at a higher rate than black men are marrying black. You know what I mean? Like black women are not venturing outside at that percentage. She would have seen that right off the top.
Yeah.
Right off the top as she pulled it up. But because that information came from Rob, and she said he was pulling him out of his ass, and then put a nice illustration of a peach. I couldn't see the animation part because I don't have Instabook or Facegram as Bill Belichick said. But she was just looking for validation in her points, and she didn't have to look far. A couple of sisters came right in and validated her and said,
none of them looked at the website.
As opposed to saying he's lightweight disrespectful, as opposed to heavyweight disrespectful. So when she said that, I was like, well, maybe, Rob says some slick shit. You know what I mean? He's a slick ass cat. He says slick shit all the time.
Yeah,
let me see. I know my brother. You know what I'm saying?
And then you look at the exchange, you're like,
And I was like, wait.
no there.
This ain't even good. You know what I'm saying? Normally, He'd throw a jab in there. He didn't even do no Rob shit in here.
He didn't
I'm
bust.
kind of disappointed in him because I actually was expecting him to throw a jab. He was actually quite even-handed.
And
Which-
I actually got on his case for not doing it.
100%. I was like, the time.
As his boxing coach,
He's like, jab.
When-
Come
on, man.
I felt like I was coaching Wild.
The
I taught you
time
the jab.
when I want Rob to do some Rob shit,
Right, he can do
Rob
it.
didn't do the Rob shit. And I was like, wait.
And
So
got shitted on.
pejoratives.
Yeah.
Pejoratives. Let me look. There's got to be some. No. It's
So-
just data.
So, two things. Number one, 85% of black men that are married to a black woman. And it's 89%, might be 90. So it might be off a percentage point of black women that are married to black men. So we are marrying each other. No, it might be a little bit over 90 now. However,
What's the gap? Go on, bust the gap.
there are 2 million more
Yep.
black women, the population, and almost 400,000 more black men are married. So what I'm
in.
so this is what I'm saying. I'm saying something twofold. We are about holding men accountable, striving to be the best man possible, not what my idea of your manhood is, but the best version of yourself. But in doing that, I will not ignore data and statistics, because if we're going to work together, there has to be a genuine conversation. And here's the part that we have to come to an understanding. And I don't care about what all these terms people throw out, oh, modern, and this traditional. Whether modern or traditional, here's my question to the ladies. What percentage of y'all are gonna get down on your knee and ask your dude to marry you?
That'll be that half
I
of
think that's gonna be that
one half of
0.54,
1%.
right?
1/2 of 1%.
So if you want a relationship, one thing that has to happen is that man has to get down on one knee and propose, right? That means that you have to inspire
Right.
that man to do so.
Right.
So you need to know what that man wants,
There it is. There it is.
unless you're going to get down on your knee and propose.
Stay curious.
Because in order for that man to secure you, because you hold the key to the sex, he figured out what you wanted.
Yep. Ergo, multiple baby daddies. But that's another conversation.
No, that'll be on our Tyrone episode.
The Tyrone, yeah. since we're going to the Badu concert. Ren, what's your stat, bro?
Oh, my stat was the.
Oh, you dropped the suspension joint.
Yeah, my
Oh,
stat was.
yeah.
See, I
Yeah.
caught it. See,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
a-
caught it.
Yeah, that was.
I caught it.
And you took me there with the BIPOC, which was I was going to go into the whole preferred minority status, which also stepped onto the trans portion of it, and specifically, I'm trying to understand, because as we saw that Mark Lamont Hill Torre exchange with the black trans sister, and speaking to how speaking very valid points about black trans living, but none of which that I saw actually applied to Dave Chappelle, and spoke to some very valid points about trans legislation and anti-trans legislation that all existed, which was all valid beefs. I don't see how any of it had to do with Dave Chappelle, and how everything he said seemed to be talking about black people. You know what I mean? So I don't, and I'm just, there's no data to talk about the means by which that community will cape for the white gay community.
Well, my thing is, we're getting to this point, and this is something I really don't like. Well, because of how you're classified, what quote unquote race we put you in, or what your sexual orientation is, then you're qualified to speak on something. We don't actually look for perspectives or qualifications, right? So just because I'm a black man, I'm supposedly qualified to speak on such and such and such, and I automatically am in the category of massively oppressed. Well, I happen to go to school with a whole bunch of these bougie Negroes, and I listen. I know some poor white folks that wish they had that Baldwin Hills, L.A. life.
Real talk.
Now, the numbers we just read the income numbers. So as a wealth and income as a group and education and different things, yes, we are on the bottom, but that does not mean we don't have people who aren't successful. So just because you look at me, you can automatically put me in a class and you don't know what I've studied, you don't know what I've researched. There are white folks out there that have researched black folks to the gills. They know way more.
Yep.
We get into discussion with black folks that don't even know what the average black person makes. How can we have a discussion on wealth? It's not a birthright. You know?
And I can't see most black people knowing the wealth data at all. Because if you match up that different numbers, some say 7%, 7,000, some say 17,000. Take out the family car. I'm not so sure that car is worth 10,000. So versus 135,000 to 160,000. That's you if you have a grasp of those type of numbers, then you see the importance of marriages.
Mm-hmm.
You see the importance of pooling our monies together and investing. You see the importance of networking. So you can't, because that stuff happens but not in mass, then it's clear that people don't know those numbers.
But here's the problem. Once you start digging into these things, what do you do with the story you've been telling yourself for the last 20 years?
Well,
What happens when you have to actually write your own story and not just repeat the one that was given to you?
man,
Because if you do that, then, you know, let's do it this way. You know, I grew up in the church. I had one other stat. 87% of black folks are affiliated with a religion. 10 is greater than 20. 87% of black folks, well, now you know what you got to intro this with. 80% of black folks are affiliated with a religion. The number one being Baptist at 45%, but the majority of it just Christian.
yeah, I saw that.
Okay, it's like 70-some%. Christian. I grew up in the church. Now, I couldn't sing, but I was in the choir. In the black church, you don't have to be able to sing to be in the choir. You know, you're just not going to sing lead.
Right.
Okay? Well, I wish that was the case in our community. I wish the lead singers could sing. I wish the lead singers had done some research. I wish the lead singers knew the data and the real situation. But all y'all niggas is in the choir.
Yes.
And
Why y'all standing behind co-signing on this and you have not looked into it for 30 seconds? Why do you trust it so much and you haven't researched it on your own?
and look at the narratives.
But when the data is presented, is where'd you get that from? Well, lady told him the Census Bureau no good.
Who they asking?
The Census Bureau is no good. Now, too bad that they using it to reclassify your districts. This is what your voting blocks are based off of. This is what your federal aid is based off of. It's a sham. It's a shamockery.
Travesty, sham, and a
Right?
mockery.
The CDC is no good. Your black ass been in the house eating tomato soup with the windows shuttered for 2 years because the CDC told you wearing a cloth mask to go to the bathroom. You driving up Crenshaw by yourself with a mask on in the car. What you gonna affect the steering wheel? Because the CDC told your ass to do that. Right? You won't even talk to your cousin, okay? Because he ain't got a shot. He don't even live in the same city as you. Talk to him. What is because the CDC told you. But if they give you the data that's against how you've been educated or indoctrinated. Now you gonna fight it. Well, what's your mission?
Yes.
Is your mission for the best thing for us as a people? Or is your mission just to be right so you can fit into your oppressed box?
In your echo chamber.
And so you can go to Sunday brunch with your 4 homegirls that can't keep a man.
Yeah. Order that
$60 for eggs.
Order that 20.
When your third ex-boyfriend gets married, men ain't no good. Well, 3 times it was good enough for the next one.
Apparently he was ready.
And let's speak to these narratives. Let's speak to these prevailing narratives. Let's speak to this homophobia.
Shoot it.
In the black community narrative.
Shoot it.
You know what I mean?
Man.
Let's speak to that. And then let's speak to homophobia in the black community, and let's speak to some homophobic language that is pervasive. But then is there a real power dynamic that exists here? Like that, is there really an oppression? There was in all over society, maybe some bubbling under the surface, tacit, let's not look at it, look the other way, Aunt Tim kind of situation. You know what I mean? We have that exists, but are there any real data on it? But it's narratives, because we could look at narratives and how they play out amongst black people in general, and how everything, all these narratives for us slant negatively. Like
Aunt Tim wasn't shit on.
Yeah. And we'll get to that. We're going to get to that. And so we could look at with the election, and we spoke about this, and the narrative was that Trump gained 6% amongst black men, from 92% black men vote he gained 6%. So the Democratic Party only got 86%,
Right.
even though the numbers exponentially were higher in the number of black men that voted Democrat. That same 98% of black women went to 92%. It was the same percentage. 6% more women went into Republican.
Yeah, exactly.
Never.
And only 40% of white folks voted for Biden.
Exactly. 38% Asian. You know what I mean? 40% 40% Latino. Like, we won't get into that. We're on the high end of the spectrum, but that's the narrative. That's how the narratives play out. So they talk about it was a couple years ago, and they said, remember that that black marriage amendment, the marriage amendment, gay marriage amendment that was in California, and they said that the black church buried that marriage amendment. That was the narrative.
There ain't even enough black people in California.
Exactly, to bury it, number one.
You can't bury nothing.
The numbers didn't even support it, but that was the narrative that placed here. Y'all church dudes, how many gay black choir directors did you have?
No. The question is how many straight ones.
Thank you.
Right.
You asked the wrong question, Doc.
Did he not have a mate in that church? Did he not have minions?
A couple times it was the pastor.
Exactly.
That part.
Did he not have minions in that church? Was that all accepted?
Absolutely.
Man, at Jeff, and this is evolved, I'm teaching at Jefferson High School. We had couple little cats, you know what I'm saying? You know what they refer to? Oh, that's gay cuz. Not even remotely flinching. Not anything negative in which call. Oh, you know. And then gay cuz got up. Yada, 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 yada. You know what I mean? So this whole thing that, I mean, I've in my life, I've seen very little anecdotal information here, personal anecdotal information here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is not to say that other people's experiences are different. This is my experience. I've seen very little, if barely any, attacking gay black people by black people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We ain't time to split them hair.
And
Right.
then
We're too busy being black
and the
first.
times that I have seen it, I saw other black people come to their defense
Yes.
immediately.
Yes.
So it wasn't like that person didn't exist. The dummy didn't exist. That dummy got handled.
Yep.
Well, see, it's also when you adopt language and when you don't write your own story, this is what happens. Let me give you an example. You're trying to deny my existence. Well, what that means in this current form is you don't say what I want you to say. You don't speak the language that I'm dictating you to talk, right? But we come from a history where our existence was actually denied. And it wasn't with words. It was physically denied.
Policy.
It was policy.
Yeah.
And it was government sanctioned and supported
Yep.
by the society. So now we're adopting the words from the folks that come from that side of the game. Now all of a sudden, words do the same thing. Well, isn't it interesting that you get to tell us now that words do it when your ass was physically doing it before?
Right.
And here we go jumping on the bandwagon because we parrots, because we're not writing our own chapters in the book. And we are ignoring a long history of black folks make fun of each other about everything.
Yeah,
right?
we do.
And if you can't handle it, what you doing, man?
Yeah.
Everybody remember all come on, fat jokes, the black jokes.
He
the
called you
jokes,
nigger. You can't react to that. I mean, it's just a word.
the mama jokes.
It's
So
just a
now
word.
I can't say this joke. Okay.
Right.
It's just a word. Sticks and
You
stones.
want equal opportunity? Get these equal jokes.
And to Rennie's point around the masculinity, okay, two quick things. Black men are the most egalitarian motherfuckers in this country, right? We ain't tripping about we ain't on the machismo shit like other cultures. That's not us. If wifey want to go get that job, shit, that helps. I ain't tripping. You know what I mean? And when we talk about the masculinity piece on the homophobia, quote unquote homophobia, you're right. Anecdotally, one of the dopest cousins, I had in my family, man, the motherfucker was a musician. He was smart. This nigga was dope. Tried to live that life. He was living that double life. Ended up getting caught up, got AIDS, died. Dope cat. Love that cat. Miss him. There was a gentleman in my neighborhood growing up. Well, this is a gay cat, right? My mom was at house where people came for safety, period. I remember dude came and he was beat up, right? And my mom was taking care of him. And he was crying, he was distraught. And I'm listening. I'm as a kid. I'm checking. I'm like, wow, man, this is sad. This cat just got beat up, and I couldn't figure out was it because he dress up like a witch on Halloween, and he talk a certain way. Okay, dude, obviously gay, right?
Yeah.
Come to find out, he got beat up by somebody, and in the conversation while he's telling my mom, he spills the beans that this dude is somebody he was messing with.
It was domestic dispute.
Undercover. So these cats in the neighborhood was messing with dude undercover, but in front of everybody, chest puffing.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that like opened up a whole nother thing. And I know that's a whole nother conversation, and I say that just to put that on the table. The other thing about masculinity is like we've been fighting for our masculinity since day one, since that 180 years before 1776.
Yes.
And so like Dave Chappelle said in the show, I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of jealous of the LGBTQIA+, because they shit done move way faster than our shit did.
I just want to say for the record, man, if you decide to have a lifestyle change, it's not going to affect our friendship at all. You change from Rob to Rhonda next week. I'll be like, nigga, kick them size 14 pumps off, hike up your skirt, and let's do this podcast. That's how I feel about it.
I just wear 13.
Hike up that skirt. Hike up that skirt.
We're like, nice legs, homie.
That's funny. What y'all got to understand about Jamie? When it comes to the truth of the joke, he chooses the joke.
Hey, man, there was some truth.
And I gotta
There was
laugh.
some truth in that joke, man. It wouldn't affect our friendship.
That is the truth part.
I don't care.
It'd be like, why didn't you tell me sooner, man? Why wouldn't you think I couldn't understand this? You know what I mean? What part of me said I couldn't understand that you, had a disdain for your own genitals?
Listen, man, we got great brothers in our neighborhoods. We got great brothers in our families. We got great brothers in our fraternity who are dope cats, and I love them regardless. It don't matter. These are some great brothers. I don't give a damn about who they like. These brothers bring some shit to the table, man, and then pushing our community forward. So we ain't got time to be parceling shit out about who you having sex with. Man, you down for the community or what?
But listen, I'm not going to speak for other people because everybody has their thing that they hill they want to climb up on. But the last thing I want to be defined by is who I have sex with.
Right. Bingo.
You know, we all got some skeletons in our closet. And I don't want to be defined by none of them. Change my name to Bones, nigga. So
You know, I had to explain that shit about. We had a conversation about with Brett about everybody got that fat girl in there.
oh yeah.
And they pass.
Yeah. But you know, listen. Everybody got
And we were having this conversation in front of Emily.
Oh, everybody got something.
It's like, hey man, she was cute.
You know. But whatever though. Or just what you like. But my whole point is that's not how I want to be defined.
Right.
Define me by my character.
Yes.
Define me by my work ethic. Define me by what kind of friend I am. Define me if I show up, right? Define me how I take care of my family and the people I love. Mm-hmm. Define me by all of those things. Way, way down on the list, okay, is the sexuality piece to me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And like, here's the thing. And, you know, I'm going to keep it a buck. The more you get on your purpose and the more you get about being busy in life, the less time you worrying about sex anyway, straight, gay, whatever. You don't even have time half the time for it.
Man.
You know, we having trouble just getting together to talk because brothers is doing so much.
Yes.
You know, and so if you want to boil it down to that, I think that we're lacking and we're missing the mark as a community. Mm-hmm. We don't have the luxury of having these arguments right now. We don't got it like that.
Yeah.
I just read off the income and the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time for this argument, to be quite honest.
Right. I mean, to that point, man, and I'm glad you brought it back to purpose. I'm glad you circled it back to purpose, to vision, because you're right, man. Once you establish it, identify it, and you own it, we all win.
Hey, I'll say something because I know we about to wrap.
With a bow.
About to wrap. You and Dio doing gang signs back and forth to each other. I mean, we almost over.
I ain't even see it. Did
And
he
I
flash
was going to tell this story earlier, but I feel like it's good because we were talking about marriage and relationships. I'm gonna tie it in. I'm gonna bring it to you. Okay. Do you know the story of how Pringles started?
Please.
Everybody knows Pringles, right?
Yeah, shoot that.
Well,
Papa Pringle.
Well, what Pringles were, when potato chips were being made, what Pringles are the shavings left over from making regular potato chips.
Really?
Right? That is turned into a multi-million-dollar product.
I love it.
Okay? Well, somewhere on the planet, I imagine a supervisor was yelling at Ralph to sweep that shit up because he just saw it as trash, and the factory floor needed to be cleaned up. Mm. I heard a story. A buddy of mine and his wife were telling me they have a friend, a guy, and my man was a hard-working dude. He was real low on the swag side, though, right? Mm-hmm. You know, he needed to change his haircut. He had the homie clown cul-de-sac going.
That's right.
But he was a really good dude. But his wife wanted to hook him up with some of her single friends, mm-hmm. most of whom, just at looking, said, nah, I'm cool, right? One of her homegirls said, I'll date him. Found out he was a real nice guy, right? Mm-hmm. Changed the haircut up on him, mm-hmm. you know. Went shopping with him, got him a couple new fits. A couple years later, my man got a promotion, started making more money. They started a side business together. Now the two of them together is one of those upper middle class, 4% black couples.
Wow.
And they getting married.
Wow.
See, he was the Pringles. He was the $1 million on the floor.
Yes.
But all you know is the cutout of the potato chip to look for.
Right.
Because you want a man with vision, but you don't have none. So how is a man with vision gonna see you? You don't have no vision. You believe in the law of attraction. Doesn't like attract like. So your visionless ass is gonna have somebody with vision? No, that's not your man. That would make him your savior. Right? You got to be able to see what's really there. Flip side of that, fellas, ass is not personality.
Oof. But it sure
Newsflash.
looks good walking away from you in the bedroom. It like looks amazing.
Newsflash.
I'm not trying to denigrate ass.
Yeah, because ass is good.
Thank you. Tip your waitresses. The church said amen for that ass.
Ashe on
You know what I'm
that.
saying? Tell your mama I said thank you.
Ashe on that ass.
But we get stuck on, because men are visual, we get stuck on the physical package.
Yes.
And we start handing the attributes to this woman that she doesn't have.
Yep.
Okay?
And never has.
She's not for the long haul.
Right.
Right? And we do a disservice to some more comprehensive women. So for the men's side, we need to grow up.
Yes.
Right? We need to see the Pringles on the floor too. Right? And I'm guilty as hell. Right? I'm the biggest dude on here because I ate the most potato chips.
I mean, you date.
And that's why I'm looking for Pringles.
That's right. Love it. I like that, man.
No problem, man.
I like that.
See? And all I got is jokes, huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
black ass.
I am black.
That's true.
Ren, you got any last words, brother?
Yeah, man. Just I said no, and then I'm about to say something.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
Shoot that shit.
Let's attack your conventional perceptions of things, and then challenge yourself to see that is that the actual reality. You know what I mean? Challenge yourself to say, man, these prevailing thoughts that you carry with you for so long, you know, what's really backing those things? I used to think I was a calm, laid back dude. I'm really not a calm, laid back dude. You know?
Trying to tell you.
I kept just telling myself, oh man, I don't be tripping off that. No, I'd be tripping off every fucking thing. Therapist told me that. He's like, who the hell told you was laid back? He's like, man, you fucking explosions roaring under the surface. He's like, you are a walking disaster. You suppress every damn thing. That's not calm. Calm is you're unshakable.
Ren be going off, man.
I suffer from that as well.
Yeah, so do I.
Don't let these jokes fool you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got fire.
like- Fix that.
Yeah.
So let's fix that.
That's real.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, so here's what I would say, and my work, and I'll just put it on me, and I would encourage all the brothers out here at the sound of my voice. It's 4 things. First thing is drink your water, get rest, meditate, read, move your body. When you do that consistently, your purpose and vision will get clearer.
That's right.
Get some sleep, drink your water, meditate, or pray, whatever it is, however you connect to the universe or higher power. Read, get some other perspectives outside of your fucking head, and try on some new shit and move your body.
And when he say read, you mean books with more words than pictures.
Yeah.
Right. Some of y'all.
I love comics, but that ain't what I'm talking about.
Yes. And also, growing up, Rob only got dates in February.
Black History Month.
Yes. And that is not a Skinny Black's Lounge tattoo on his chest. That's an actual T-shirt.
Hey, get your Skinny Black Lounge shirt.
Get you. And
See the black jokes, right?
That'd be a Skinny Black thong on me. But
Listen, the dopest, and I gotta say this before we leave.
T-shirt remind me of draws.
Before we leave, the dopest shit. The dope, and I've heard a lot of black jokes in my life, being the darkest cat usually in the room. But this dude JT came with he got 1 million of them, and it's about 3 million actually. But when he came with the title for my fantasy football team, I'm never changing that shit.
Fingerprints on charcoal.
That shit is funny.
Hey man,
That's funny.
you imagine you go to the police station. They got a lump of Kingsford. No, sir. Over here, sir. Put your thumb right there on the mesquite.
And with that being said, comment, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to Skinny Blacks Lounge. We out.
Your mama fought Jack Johnson.